friends. Today we're going to be inspired by Van Gogh as we make a still life. We're going to make a still life with a vase. You have a learning guide that has a lot of different pictures of vases. You may pick to draw a vase, or I have stencils. If you'd prefer to trace a vase, you may, or maybe you'll just look at that stencil for guidance. I'm going to start with that type of stencil shape, but I think I'm going to add handles. Now I want my vase to be sitting on a table, so I'm going to make a line that goes behind the vase. Now I'm going to move above my vase and I'm going to add flowers. I'm going to draw all of my flowers before I make any stems. Some of my stems will overlap behind, and that's totally okay. I'm going to make this flower from a side view, like it's bending a little bit, and you're looking at it from the side. This maybe will be a rose. You can make your flowers all the same, or you can make a variety of flowers. I'm going to make a tulip here. Tulips are spring flowers. Van Gogh drew sunflowers, but they didn't all look the same. He definitely had a lot of variety in his art. Variety is something that makes your art interesting. It's how we have different elements, where not everything is just the same. I think I'll add one more flower, and I'm going to do, another one of those sunflowers. Sunflowers look a little bit like the sun, and they also grow to aim at the sun. All right, now I have a lot of flowers. I'm going to make stems and leaves. I'm going to go from the flower down to the vase. Then I'm going to add leaves. 2 on this one. Now this flower might be a little tricky. My stem is going to that flower, then I'm going to lift up and go behind it. I don't really have room for leaves on that one. This one I'm going to make curve just for fun, and I'm going to put little leaves on it. This one I'm going to curve into the top. It wouldn't make sense for my flower to go into the side of my vase. That would make it look like it had a hole in the side, and that would not be good for water. All right, now I have lots of flowers, and I can decorate. Van Gogh liked to use swirling lines. To make a circle, I go around and trace around that over and over. It's like I make almost a circle, but then I trace around and around and around, putting my pastel down, starting a circle, but then going around it. I'm going to make a few more, and then I can even add patterns or designs in my vase. Maybe I'll make some swirling lines on my vase. Next time I see you, we're going to be using a kind of paint called tempera cakes. Tempera cakes may sound delicious, but they are actually not. They're just a paint. This is what a tempera cake looks like. They're hard to begin with, and you add water to wake them up. In that way, they're similar to watercolors. So I take my paintbrush from the water, and I'm going to stir it into the color of my choice. When I get a little bit of liquid on my brush that looks like that color, in this case orange, I'm going to paint my paper. When I'm painting, I'm remembering that my paintbrush is like a ballerina. Ballerinas always dance on their tiptoes. This is the tiptoe of my paintbrush. They never scoot on their bottoms because nobody wants to go to the booty scooting ballet. I'm going to rinse my paintbrush for a new color. I think I'm going to use this purple here. And I'm filling. Whenever I switch colors, I am going to rinse my brush. Now I still have quite a lot of that purple on, so I'm just going to keep painting with it until I run out of that color. I can tell I'm starting to run out when my paintbrush gets a little bit scratchy and it doesn't feel smooth anymore. I feel it starting right now, and you can see that the paint isn't going on very thick. So I dip in the water and back into that color. Whenever I want to switch colors, I need to swish my paintbrush into the water. I would never go down the line and get a little of each color. That would ruin the paint for the next class and for all of your neighbors, and they would not be very happy. Now you may choose to repeat some colors throughout your artwork. This is called repetition, when you choose an element in your art to do many or more than one time. A couple more flowers here, and then I'm going to show you how we can add color to our stems, because right now they're just black, which isn't nearly as exciting as a beautiful green stem. One more flower, tippy toes, and I'm only painting it one time. I don't even really want to mix on my paper. If I mix a little tiny on my paper, that's okay. But these colors really don't mix very well. Now this is the color that is green. It doesn't look very green in the set, but when you add water, you can see that it turns green. I'm going to trace over the lines I made and fill them with the green. Now some stems even have a little bit of yellow in them. I'm not mixing my yellow and my green. I'm just using yellow just for fun, for something a little different on a couple of my stems. Then I'll do this green. Now I'm going to fill my background with color. And there is no specific way to do that, so I will time lapse you while I work on mine. Right, before I'm finished, I just wanted to show you a couple things. First of all, I wanted to mention that I am never stabbing my paintbrush into this set. I'm just gently sweeping it over top. Now, when I'm doing the background, it would be awfully hard to fill all the way. So what I'm going to do is just get a little bit of color on my brush, and I'm going to kind of trace around with a swirling motion those lines I made with pastel. Now, if I don't trace them exactly, that's totally okay. In fact, I won't be able to. And maybe I'll even add a few new ones. I see a couple spots that look a little bit empty now that my piece is complete, so I'm going to add a few more swirls. My paintbrush is definitely a ballerina when I'm doing this. So you can see that I have a super bright, fun still life that's full of flowers, and I even use those swirling organic motions just like Van Gogh. Good job.